That's what I got going on right now. And I hurt my right hip a little bit. That is a cabin, and that is where I'll be staying tonight. And they left the light on for me. It's almost like Tom Bodette. This is my first aid kit. Now when I'm all geared up, I normally like to wear it right up front where I can get to it with either my left hand or my right hand. And so now I can finally get to working on my leg. Yeah, still looks like hell. So I'll clean it and bandage it up. My special little medicine here is the same stuff that I used on my hand when it got wrenched. And this will heal very, very quickly. But it's also going to scar up very, very quickly. So alright, there's Dr. Jim to the rescue. And I'll leave that on for the next 24 hours. Then I'll go ahead and take it off and clean it up again and be good to go. So you finally get to see me use my first aid kit. Great. You might notice I've been wearing an orange undershirt, and the reason for that is if I end up in a survival situation out here, I can take my shirt off and wave it around. I can cut it in 3 pieces and lay it out. I can cut it in half, lay out 3 pieces, have 1 piece to wave, or I can lay it out and put 3 branches or 3 rows of rocks, pointing north of course, that would cast a shadow to any aircraft flying overhead of 3 marks. Same thing with the mountains, forests, swamps, jungles. I have an orange picnic table cover in my vest pack here. Now that covers a lot more surface area, and that's what you're going to want in those harder to see places. With all the gear I carry, I especially use these out here in the desert. My binoculars. Now it looks like a very small pair, but they're actually pretty powerful. A lot of the gear that I carry with me is very small but very effective, and if I had to, I can tear half of the binoculars apart, use the lenses to create a fire. Now I would have to be in a very, very, very desperate situation to use that type of method. I strongly suggest never doing that, but if you had to, the good thing is you have 1 lens that you can use as a telescope. So I'm out here at Calico, California, north of Los Angeles, and there's a lot of tourists that come out here, and I'm not a tourist today. In fact, I come out here maybe 10 times a year. This is where the past might soon be the future. We end up losing electricity through a solar burst or some type of activity from outer space. Once the power goes out, you know, it's not going to come back on. It's just not an automatic type of thing. This here's future fire department, and if you don't think so, you're kind of fooling yourself. When I talk about the loss of electricity, I'm not talking about just the United States. I'm talking worldwide. Now, there's already plenty of people in different countries that have no problem at all living without electricity. We once did that ourselves. When the power goes out, the pumps go out, and there's nobody getting no gasoline. When the power stops, transportation stops. And I'm just not talking about cars, motorcycles, scooters, on and on. I'm talking about aircraft and ship. If you're overseas, that's your new home. You're going to have to become indigenous, and that's something for you to have to think about. It's not too tough to live without electricity, but the environment, the time of year, dictate just how tough it can be. You do have to have wilderness skills, primitive skills. Now, could you imagine having something like this in the middle of the streets? Well, this would certainly make sense. Something like this, the water would have to be transported from the ocean, from the beach. When the grid goes down and the power goes off, there's one thing that's going to be terribly devastating to me.